Take a swig.
It's almost that time.
Yeah, man, the Swig podcast,
Yeah,
man.
we gotta tune in.
Hey, man, let me grab this beer right quick, man.
Yeah, let me get my drink ready.
Yeah, man, shoot, man, they be talking about all types of on it, man. The lagers, man.
There's some beers I ain't never even heard of on there.
We about to learn about them, though, shoot.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
What's up, world? It's your boy, the Bearded Brother.
And Shani Hadia, the marvelous gift in the building. What up, good people?
Folks?
Man, this been a hell of a week, Kramer.
That's been, I don't know about hell, but it's been one cold ass week.
You're right.
Right.
Well, we'll get into that, but we're going to go ahead and bring our guest in. We have Daryl Neal of Beer Talk Now. We were on his podcast a couple months ago.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so we just,
A couple months though?
No, it wasn't that long. Was it that long?
I feel like
I don't know. I've lost all concept of time.
It's got to be about a month.
Beer.
Let's say a month.
Everything runs together. I'm pretty sure it was 2020, right?
Was it 2020? Nah, I got to look. I got to check.
Ever since this panorama happened, I've lost all track of time. So I don't know what's real right now. Honestly.
We got to check the receipts. The last time I sent some Hen House.
Right.
I gotta go find them. Shout out Hen House for giving me all that beer so I can send out to y'all. Definitely think that you're probably right. That probably was 2020. No lie about that. That definitely probably was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Think so.
Yeah. So we have been, so Rep Your City. One of the cool things about it is we're both supposed to be drinking each other's beer.
I know.
About it. But thanks to 2020 offering their beer up and really it's still not as bad as the Panasonic, but we have had some snow in Nashville. In the motherfucking country, actually.
You said some.
You
said
some
snow.
Oh yeah, we've had I don't really want to lie and be like, I think 10 inches or something like that.
I think like total, but like
I'm thinking like a guy, I don't want to lie about my inches.
That's right. Tell the truth. I'm not trying to give you expectations that's gonna fall flat.
I don't want
to set up any disappointments.
No, not at all. No.
It definitely it set us down. You know what I'm saying? Like it laid it down. But so we have been locked in. Well, I've been locked in my house all week. And it's been stressful because we were not prepared. We were in Atlanta. We came back from Atlanta with we don't have no food in the house, but we'll just pick something up tonight and tomorrow we'll go to the store. Now, no food in the house for us definitely means something a little different. We have stuff in the pantry, but if we don't have like an abundance of like fresh fruits and vegetables, we don't have food in the house. So we have been sitting down all week. I've been on beans and rice. The magical fruit. The more you eat, the more it's been rough in the.
Did you soak them? Did you soak them?
We did soak them, but we had some canned beans. I had black bean burgers. We had red beans. We had pinto beans. We've been eating
all the beans. Yeah, this week's been crazy because we moved literally day before it. Technically a few hours before everything hit the fan. We could have not timed it any more perfect than when we moved. We thought about moving that on Saturday. That's the crazy part. We were like, nah, let's just do Friday. It's like our payday. It's just a better day to move. And we're so glad we just made that decision because that night, that's when the bottom fell out pretty much. With I really started with hard ice water falling from the sky. So that accumulated, froze over, then snow a little bit, froze over, then the snow even more, and basically froze over. And now we're kind of on the back end, but
yeah. And with all of this, we were not able to get the damn beer.
I know. I should have did it earlier. Damn it!
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure that would have like. I didn't see the mailman for. You said UPS, but I ain't seen them either. Like all week. The mailman just came today, but I don't think he's been all week. So
I don't think so.
You know.
Okay, you get it though.
Like last week or something, but it was no guarantee.
That's all right. Y'all get me beer. Y'all got me beer. Excuse me. So you know, I'm a happy man right now. So I'm ready, willing to drink it. And drink it all. But. I
have some Cali beer that I went in the fridge, which I'm getting low on my beer supply. So
now, do you got a separate fridge? Because I don't.
Okay, I do, but that'll be full, and there's overflow into my main fridge too.
Yeah, that's about to be me. I'm trying to invest in a mini fridge.
Yeah.
Call back my college days again.
Yeah, this was my cousin's mini fridge, so it's a lot easier to like. I didn't have to purchase it. It's probably one that I would not have purchased because it's so small. I would have went just a little bigger, but we'll see if she come back to TSU and she can get it back. But if not, it's just gonna sit there and
be used.
My beer fridge until I'm ready to upgrade. So speaking of beer, what are we drinking? Daryl, we'll start with you.
I'm drinking a Snowman stout style beer, okay, brewed with coffee and cocoa nibs, okay, and this is a 6.2 ABV. I like the can on this one, you know.
Yeah.
So, shout out. I don't know what the brewery is, but I got to look at it. Okay.
Jackalopes. They're really known for their like real artsy can art here in Nashville.
Yeah, right up top here. See, it kind of blended in with the rest of the damn can. I couldn't even see the logo up top because it's white.
Right. They definitely rely on their can art for people to recognize who they are. They don't just throw Jackalope on it and be like, "Look, Jackalope." They're like, "Oh, look at our can art." Then you're gonna know it's us.
Yeah, they definitely their can art is pretty cool. They're woman owned.
Okay.
What women started now is woman and man owned, but definitely just woman owned. Is they're cool. We brew the Black is Beautiful with them. All right, yeah. He's sniffing and sizing it up.
Yeah,
they don't brew too high ABV beers either.
Nah, I saw that.
How do you feel about like lower ABV stouts? We have some people that feel a way about that.
Well, let's see what he thinks on this one.
I'm about to say it's got that coffee definitely shines through. I think if it was a heavier ABV, you probably get a little bit more of maybe more of the malt aspect to come through. But that coffee is like strong. Like as soon as you sip, and now it's just sitting on my palate. This is actually probably I should have lined this one up last with the other from after the other two so that it could kind of cleanse the palate. But when it comes to stouts, I don't mind so East Brother out here in Richmond, California, they have a stout that's only like I think like 5 or 5.4, something like that, and it's just a traditional stout, and it's good. I mean, it's very robust flavor. They don't use coffee, but when you roast your malts, you get a lot of that type of coffee aspect to it, but you still get some caramel notes as well. It's just more so depending on how they roast. But no, this is not bad. Like I said, if it was heavier, I definitely would. It would probably blend that coffee a lot more with the cocoa nibs, and then you add cocoa nibs too. So you getting. I don't know if you ever like had when you get some really dark chocolate and you kind of got that it's sweet, but then it's kind of like a dry sensation. Yeah, that's exactly what I get with this. So like that mixture of coffee and cocoa nibs, this will wake you up. That's all I gotta say. This is definitely got my palate like, okay, let's get to work.
And I'm wondering if they used like coffee, brewed coffee.
Versus coffee beans or grounds.
Yeah. It tastes to me like probably beans, or they might have soaked the beans and then poured that in there. Because it's not overly coffee, it's just you can taste it. So
and they're pretty typical with their beer. So that's why you see stout style, because they have the adjuncts in there.
Got
So,
you.
Yeah, they wouldn't just be like, oh, this is a stout. Nah, they added some stuff to it, so they'll keep it funky with their.
Well, I respect it. And yeah, it is the coffee bean from local roast.
Also, a little tidbit: they were the first to can their beers in Nashville. So
Okay.
Yazoo was bottling and still bottles. Do they still bottle everything? I feel like I've had
Not everything. It's like their flagship stuff. So it's like their Dos Perros, like they're OGs of OGs.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, that Cala IPA, which I love, and I need to get some more of that, was in a can. So yeah.
It's like almost they can like they're one-offs more than they bottle sometimes.
Now, do y'all like bottle or can when it comes to beer?
See, okay.
That's a good question.
So if I'm somewhere and I'm drinking like a lighter style, like a lager, a pilsner or something, and I'm on location, I actually enjoy a bottle. But if I'm home, I'm gonna take that can and I'm gonna pour it into a cup. It's not too many times that I drink out the can, but I think it depends on the style for me, for sure.
Yeah,
like
I'm the exact same way. I can't say anything different.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
I've had to think about that question before, because it's a pretty common question. So I've heard other people, they ask other people. I'm like, damn, what would my answer be?
Yeah, throwing it out there. I think stouts for me, definitely in bottles. I'm a big fan of barrel age, as we talked about before. So anything you give me a matter of fact, in the fridge, I'm sending it out though. But I got a 18.5 stout that's in there right now. Shout out to Drake's Barrel House out here in San Leandro, California, in the Bay. And I got we got a 12, a 14, 18, and a 17.5, 17.3, and the 17.3 is a barley wine. So, but it's still been aged in oak barrels and everything. So, yeah, I'm sending that out. So, I'm just big on the bottles when it comes to stouts. I know it's more of an aesthetic aspect to it, but when one thing I do not like is when breweries do not have canned crowlers. Like I hate it, because I'm like, if I accidentally lay this bottle down, or it's not sealed all the way, then that air is starting to leak out slowly but surely. Yep. And then you open it up and it becomes flat. And then you only get a day with, say, a glass crowler or growler. Sometimes people try to leave it in there longer, but I've had bad experience with that, where I was like, somebody at the brewery told me like, oh, this will last you about 3 days. And so I was like, cool, didn't really drink it to the third day. And I was like, this is not what I had at the brewery. So I was like, never again. And I talked to a lot of the brewers out here who it's not feasible for them at the moment, because aluminum is very, everybody trying to get it. And even before COVID,
hella shortage.
Even before COVID, it was, you only got Ball's like the biggest company. You got a couple other ones, but everybody want a can, like every craft brewer.
Not just craft brewer, every, Coke, all the sodas, everybody.
Yep.
Right.
It has been a lot more at home consumption, which typically happens out of cans.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to make sure I recycle though.
I try it too as well.
So Kramer, what are you drinking over there?
I know I like the glass though. I got these flight glasses, but I see you got something that's a little nicer than that.
Oh yeah, I got a whole little collection of glasses for all types of occasions. I'm actually finishing up the last trio of the Eclipse release they put out probably about a month ago. And this one is their 3-year vertical. So now in its 13th vintage, 2020 Eclipse is our rich imperial stout aged to perfection in whiskey and spirit barrels. All Eclipse starts with the same base barrel beer, bringing hints of dark chocolate espresso and smooth complexity, with each treatment delivering its own character of a minimum of 180 days of aging. This one is aged in bourbon barrels, filled in 2016, 2017, 2018. You can definitely taste the aging in it. Like it's pretty much just the bourbon barrel. It's very like bourbon barrel forward, but it's not to a point where it's overbearing like how some barrel aged beers can be. It's very smooth, but you can tell it's been sitting in there because it has like a bit of a drying effect, almost like kind of like bourbon does when you kind of drink it on neat or on the rocks. But it's very well done. This trio did not disappoint, but they usually make fire stuff. So I don't expect nothing less from these people. I don't know if they're guys or women or not. So from this group of people.
There we go.
Way to be inclusive, Kramer.
I like saying you all. That's what I like doing. I'll be like, you all, because sometimes I got to catch myself. I'm so used to saying you guys, and I'll be like, wait a minute, you all, and everybody's just like, okay, cool. I'm like, good. Good.
It's the same with me. I mean, I use guys. I could be sitting in a room full of women and be like, yo, guys. And it don't mean like that. I don't take it to mean anything like masculine, but I understand people don't necessarily operate in the same way that I operate. So I do have to consciously say, that's why what up, good people?
What's up, Earthlings?
Right. I don't know. Some of these people, I'm not sure they're from Earth, so I don't even want to.
Touché.
Good people work. Good people work.
I haven't had too many barrel-aged stouts this season.
What?
Yeah, I think I haven't been buying that much beer.
Do tell. Why? Why?
Okay, so after December, I did the advent calendar in December. And then I, New Year's, and I drank and all that good stuff. I was tired. I had to I was like, I see why people do dry January. I wasn't to the level of like wanting to do dry January, but and then we had some pictures that I wanted to, look good for. So I was like, let me just cut back a little bit on the beer. And now I'm looking like, okay, I'm getting a little low. I'm ready to make some things happen. But I've had some stouts. Not too many barrel-aged ones. I think Bearded Iris is doing some releases on the 26th for their anniversary. I'm interested.
Okay.
I'm very interested.
I'm interested. And so for mine, what I'm drinking is a beer from our first interaction, if you will.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah. It's from the Hen House Brewing Company. It's Deep State IPA. With Citra and Amarillo hops. So I'm getting like grapefruit on this one. Nice citrus coming through. It's held up pretty well.
I was going to ask you that because I was like, "Ooh, it's been a minute."
Yeah. So it was canned on 10/21. So it had, it probably at the tail end of it, of the IPA life, trailing out, but it still has a lot of body to it. It's still hazy. It's definitely giving a good haze. The haze is stayed with it, so that's a good, well-made IPA to me. The lacing is still like I don't know if y'all can really see it.
Yeah, we can see it. Yep,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, so this is held up, and the can was a little.
To transport, they broke one. I was very upset. I bubble wrapped that extensively, and it still didn't work.
And we still lost one in transit.
I'm just glad they didn't take it out and be like, oh, you lied to us. You're not supposed to do this. So I'm glad they didn't take all of them away. That's all I got to say.
Right.
And one thing I like about this one is I like hop burn. I really like to taste the hops. I like West Coast IPAs. This is giving me like a best of both worlds. It's giving me the hazy, but also has a little kick at the end. And so it's refreshing.
Yeah, and they've already released Hen House is probably like 10 plus beers. No, more than 10, excuse me. Way more than 10 beers since our last conversation. And it's just like on and on and on. And I still have the episode that I have to release with the co-founder, Colin, who I just haven't sat down and edited the audio, but that was that was a great interview. So I'm excited about that. And then I still got to stop by. I haven't myself included. I haven't really been out as much. Going to visit a lot of breweries. There's a lot of breweries that are, especially like Pliny. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but that's in California. It's really, it's like everybody know Pliny. I've yet to have Pliny. And people are like, what are you doing? How can you love craft beer and not have Pliny? But that's across the bridge. Like, I mean, I went over, we got too many bridges. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you got San Francisco, you got Santa Rosa, and it's just like, all right, I mean, okay. I went over there to do my episode with Steel and Hops, but I was like, oh, hell, Pliny down the street or Russian River down the street, and I didn't get a chance to go down there because, again, you're focusing on that episode. But I'm going to link up with them, though. I'll get the Pliny Jr. I know they just released that. So
I want to get your, I don't know, your reviews on
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I like Pliny.
A lot of people, it's like a love. Some people love it. Yeah, some people love it. Some people, it's just like, this is the traditional, like, West Coast hit you in the mouth hops is what I've been told, but everybody's palate is different. So I'm agree. Yeah, I know. See, you say like that hop burn. Me, I mean, I got used to it, but I could tell for at least from my palate, it's like, okay, this is just, you just are trying to bombard me with that good old alpha acid, and I'm trying to have a flavor. I want to taste the hop, the flavor of the hop, not the alpha acid it creates. So just trying to find that.
I'm the same
way. That's what makes it a good IPA for me. When I still have some of that kick with it, but I get the flavors and I'm able to, sniff it out and taste it. And, but if I just get in it, just burn my mouth. And I've had some of those IPAs where I still enjoy them, but they're not top tier because they kill my taste buds.
Exactly. They take away from every other experience.
I don't want my mouth cut up and cut to shreds at the end of
like Captain Crunch out here. Come on now. You gotta wait till it's super soggy. And then you like, all right, now it's cool. Like, it's facts.
Right.
Yes, but okay, so speaking of Hen House, I can't remember the name of the beer, and I'm gonna have to go back and look for it. But it was, the hen had like fruit and
that's the Goza. I think it was a Goza. That's what it was.
Okay, wait, that's not the one, but that was good. We mixed that with some tequila.
Okay.
That was on point.
Because the saltiness of the Goza, I see where you at. I see where you at.
Then we had like
damn, I missed that boat.
That one was good, but there was an IPA. So that was the Goza, now that I think about it. But there was an IPA and that thing was so good. It was, I'm gonna have to go back and find it. But matter of fact, I can go back to my advent calendar because that's where it stemmed from. But the first one I had was the Best Life. It's
Best Life.
Yeah, it's Best Life. I mean, it's pretty much like a High Life. I didn't need that one in my life at all. And so I was like, oh, I don't know what Hen House about to be hitting for. And then I got that IPA. And I was like, okay, y'all redeem yourself. I'm here for it.
Yeah, the Best Life had the chicken in the baseball outfit.
Yeah. But I know you're talking. That was like their baseball series because they're big baseball fans, and they had a couple of those. But Deep State, Deep State is another one that they had. And they got a whole bunch of other IPAs. They're big on that. So next time, like I said, when I stop by there, I'll shoot y'all some more of those because I know you like IPAs. So we'll find another one that you'll be like, y'all good. But they take their time. They got a whole team, but they sometimes hit and miss with it. Yeah,
Mr. October, that's the one with the baseball.
Yeah.
That was that Mr. October IPA. That was good. It got a verbal like, oh, okay. When I sipped it.
I was like, their stuff is definitely well brewed. I do enjoy their stuff. So if I ever make it out to the Bay Area, I gotta remember Hen House.
Hit me up. It's gonna be like a week type of thing though. It ain't gonna be one day. So we got.
I'm with it.
Yeah, we gotta be like. Yeah, I gotta be like, all right, job. I gotta take a vacation. I gotta talk to the social media manager first. She's like, you taking vacation for beer? I was like, yeah, we're gonna take a group vacation, okay? I'm just gonna drink beer along the way. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so talking about like visiting.
Yes.
What breweries stand out? Now, understand that you might be maybe on your side of the bridge.
Yes.
And then, of course, if Pliny and Russian River are just on the other side of the bridge, you know those are gonna,
Yeah, so you gotta go there. San Francisco has a lot of breweries that people like, such as Laughing Monk, Bear Bottle. Shout out to Bear Bottle because that was a great episode that I did with them, and on audio. And they have some good stouts. They're not all barrel aged, but they were up there. But they do a lot of sours, and they do about 12 to 15 beers, all different styles. Is always on tap. It's not, they constantly, I think 42 plus different beers that they rotate through. So this is not the co-founder is not a person. He likes flavors, and he doesn't feel, and this is just his perspective of like, if you're not brewing different styles or attempting to change the recipe to make it unique, then you're really just being irrelevant because you're sticking to your style. And that's coming from his perspective, but it shows because they're very creative. And a lot of people like this one beer was a lot when everybody was doing with the lactose in the stouts. This one guy, he's a vegan that was brewing, was on the brew team. So he made it was this it's like this cookie that doesn't have any milk or anything in it that you used to get like on airplanes and stuff like that. And he literally was like, I want to create that flavor. And so they gave him the opportunity.
The biscuit.
Yeah, they gave him an opportunity, and it was crazy. So definitely got to go to Bear Bottle. I definitely got to take you to Drake's, Kramer, because the stouts, again, the void, all that. I should just pull it out. I should have pulled out the fridge to show you, but those is fire. Those is like the 12, 13, 14, 18%. And then they got their,
get your hands on those.
Exactly. So then they got but they had that. Shout out to Travis and Zach. Those are the two brewers who focus on the barrel aged stuff. But you got Federation. Shout out to Federation because they did their collab with Hella Coastal. You got them. They do good work. And you have a list of other breweries that I can, I don't want to miss.
You don't have to go down. You don't have to go down the whole list. Just give it a gist.
It's breweries in Livermore, that's even farther out from the Bay. It's still within the region, but it's just 30, 40, 50 minutes depending on where you go. Sometimes an hour. But Livermore, they got Ultima Brewery. That's actually the brewery where I was like, I went from drinking a dank to not liking IPAs to drinking a dank. And then drinking hazies after. And I like the dank better than I like just regular IPAs. And that was that was just surprising for people. So shout out to John, who I interviewed, Sylvester.
Which brewery was this?
It's called Ultima Brewery. It's out there in Livermore. And then you got,
okay.
You gotta go to Sacramento, California. I gotta take you here to Oak Park Brewing. Gotta take you to Urban Roots. And both of those are Black co-owned. So you got Rob from Urban Root who did the collab with Crown and Hops. You got Raj, who's a brewer at Oak Park Brewery, and they got this stout called Stout Cane. It's a 12.5. That's great. They got this Imperial Porter. That's just that thing is fire. But and that's just all over. And there's probably other places in between that I haven't even stopped by yet. So California, again, 1,000 breweries in California. So I'm barely scratching the surface of breweries that we got.
Man, I think Kramer and I were talking about this on the other episode. It's like we have like 20 here.
20. Wow.
And it's not, and 3 of them, have multiple locations.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that there's a whole lot here. We have good beer. I just want more. I probably want to live in like San Diego, to be honest.
Yeah, You gotta hit up Black Beer Travelers, Brandon.
Yeah.
You got Stone out there. You got it's like one that got like a puff fish on it. I keep forgetting that name. Ballast or something like that. Yeah, Ballast Point. I don't know if
Ballast Point.
Yeah, Ballast Point.
San Francisco for some odd reason.
Yeah, no. That's down there in San Diego.
Okay.
San Diego, LA. It's crazy how many breweries. Just here in Richmond, you got about 3 or 4. Oakland, you got probably about like 10 or so. And then as you just go spots by spots, you just be like, there's just too many breweries. Even San Jose, so Phil Works, they're out here in Berkeley and over there in San Mateo. But people like Phil Works because they're big on IPAs. But they did a hot chocolate stout that I was so mad I was trying to buy, like, I should have bought growlers, but I was like, again, I need a can. So if they start making 64-ounce cans, then I'll buy a whole bunch of them joints. But that was good too. So
get you a good.
Huh?
Have you invested in a good growler though? Because
I just looked at that. I saw one on Instagram be playing with you. Every time you talk or you take a picture of something, man, the app.
Get back on Instagram, you're gonna see growlers.
Yes, yeah. And it got me with my social media managers. I got her some of them flip-flop joints that I saw them all the time, and I was like, I ain't never said nothing about no damn flip-flops. They're like the real thick ones that's like 3D printed or something like that. I was like, man. So yeah, but I gotta get an insulated growler. I do have one. Shout out to Fountainhead Brewing Company. They got good beer too. They in Sacramento. I came and they were doing like their anniversary or something. So they had you can take home, you buy the growler, and the fill was very inexpensive. So I had that one. We use that for juicing. But I need to get one that's more insulated that I can lock so I can keep that freshness. Cause that's the one thing that I don't like about the twisting. Cause if you don't twist it good enough, it still leak though. You need something that's like got that rubber seal and you just hit it tight. So
yeah, because my growler, I have that with a seal on it, and it you hook it up and it latches down or whatever. And I've had a beer in there for like 3 or 5 days. It was a couple days, and I came back and it was hitting, and it was on point. I wouldn't trust it too much further than that, but it definitely works. Have you moved on to another beer?
Oh yeah, I was just sipping on this tea trying to get my voice right. I don't want to disrespect y'all like that. Shout out to my social media manager who always holding me down.
What can we do without him?
And her and my baby girl, she looked my daughter looking at me like, you already know that I'm supposed to be there with you as your co-host. I got some complaints from my mother about you got to keep it professional. I was like, hey, if they got kids, they know what's up.
Right. I mean, and it's a pandemic, so I would give a lot of grace. Go ahead and invite her on if you don't mind her having conversations. All right, so that's the Black is Beautiful. Which brewery is that one from?
This is from Black Abbey Brewing Company. The Black Abbey Brewing Company.
Black Abbey's. We don't brew that one as well, so
yeah.
I like this one. Again, that good old head retention.
So this was my first experience, and not that I had many brewing experiences, but using oats. In the grain, then they use oats, but definitely rice hulls.
Rice hulls, yeah.
And it really they did put a little lactose in it.
Yeah, because I barely taste lactose.
Yeah, it's definitely just enough to take the edge off, give it a little that foam.
I like a lot. I like the amount they put into their Black is Beautiful, because sometimes it's just like a little bit of beer, whole bunch of lactose.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
And that's why a lot of people don't like the lactose aspect of it, because it's so sweet. But this right here seems like they stuck to the traditional recipe just as much as possible, because I've actually had like the Weather Souls exact recipe, and the amount of, at least for me, kind of like that. It's almost like that coffee bitterness to it. Is there, but again, the lactose settled that down. That oats kind of smoothed it out, so it's not hitting the palate and sitting on your palate like really, really heavy. So I like that aspect. But this is again, I think that I'm lining myself up correctly. I think I did it right, even though the Snowman, the Snowman Stout it's a lot. It's not as thick, as the Black is Beautiful, but that it kind of like eased me into that coffee. I think if I had this one first and then would have went to the Snowman, I probably would have been like, I would have that bitterness would have stayed there probably, and not, I wouldn't have got the full enjoyment of this one, or really got to hold this to its own standards. So
I think it worked out with that one being light, a lighter style stout. Then that would definitely.
But now this one, like again, when I had the original Weather Souls recipe, I was like, okay. And I've had so many different variations, probably about 3 or 4 variations of Black is Beautiful. I think Alvarado Street Brewing Company out here in the Bay. They, to me, again, but I'm biased because it was a 12.5, so I was just like, yeah, that's the best one. And then like I took a sip and was like, oh yeah, this is it. So, but I got a bias to my malt and the barrel age. So, no, this is again keeping me awoke. Like it's hitting me like stay awake. Got the palate feeling real, like just real ready. Like I'm ready for this one when it comes up. So that, cause I think when that hit me, then I'll probably mellow it out, and then we go to the double IPA. So that would be, I think I'm doing well balanced. And shout out to Justin, the head brewer at Still and Hops, because he was the one that actually I usually used to do beer from lowest ABV to highest ABV, and that could mean I could start off with a hazy and finish with the stout. But the problem is that once I had it lined up where you go darker beer to lighter beer, I was like, okay, this makes sense. It's just like hard alcohol. You don't go from light to dark or dark to light. You kind of pick a lane in that sense. But the way you layer it up, if you do it, you got to do it correctly. So I'm gonna stick with that.
There's definitely a science to it.
Yeah,
I had to learn that way myself.
Did you learn that in college, or did you learn that just recently?
You talking about me or him? Okay,
Kramer. He said he had to learn that.
Yeah, mine was definitely more recent.
Got you. Some people learn how to drink in college, but a lot of times you just be like, I'm just drinking.
That's alcohol. Give it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I had one experience with beer. This was some years ago. We was in Sac with my cousin, and like, I'm known for drinking a beer, but we had like 2 64-ounce, so 2 the big cups. I think it was like not Yard House, it was some other just like brewery / pub type area. But what I did incorrectly is I had the stout first, and then I went over to like a lighter beer. But the problem with me is that it almost like just kind of ballooned up in my stomach, and I was just like, oh, so I couldn't finish the second one. Everybody else knocked it back. Like, man, you talking about you drink beer, you can't even finish the second one. But it was like so much gas built up. And I'm like, why burping like crazy? And I was just like, okay, whatever ingredient was used and however I blended those by drinking this one first. And then the next one was crazy. And actually, I think I have 3 to 4 beers prior to the 64 ounce.
Yeah.
So I went from, I think I did like a amber or a red ale. And then I went to a stout. Or I had 2 red ales, 2 ambers or something like that. Then I went to a stout because they were pretty. The amber was in about like a 6 to 8 range. Stout was like the 10. I think it was like 10 to 12, 12.5. And then that was like 3. Then we went over to that place with the 64 ounce, and I think it was just Ada Mountain and whatever. I don't want to say it was an IPA, but no, it probably was. Probably was an IPA. The way that mixed in my stomach, I was like, never again. So I've always been trying to find that balance, because you can mess yourself up with some beer. Like, I mean, you
can't get them IPAs. You can't just go in out in an IPA. You got to.
You can't put your head down and just run forward.
So I wanted to say with Black Abbey, they brewed theirs. Part of the adding lactose was to cut out some of the ABV because they are barrel aging it in Jameson barrels.
Okay.
So, and in Tennessee, you can't put a beer that's 10% or above in the barrels. They got to be like 8 something.
Wow, that's crazy. So
it's only 10.1 right now. It's the highest ABV we can go.
You say what?
No, I'm just trying to understand that. So I can take so if the beer prior to going into the barrel is 10, then I can't put it in the barrel, right?
Right.
But if it's like an 8, then I can put it in the barrel. Am I on the same thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just gotta be careful when you pull it out.
Oh, okay. So they keeping you at the 10.1% ABV for the highest alcohol content in the beer, or am I?
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
10.1 right
Is it
now.
10 point? I thought we had some stouts that went over, but I'll be drinking beer from other places. So, but yeah, you're not supposed to brew a beer over 10. Yes, you're not
Unless
supposed
you
to
have a
brew
liquor
beer
license like New
over
Heights.
10.1.
Okay.
Now, do they brew beer over 10.1 and throw 10.1 on it? Maybe, you know.
Oh yeah, I would not be
Feels
surprised
like
if they
it.
did that. I ain't gonna
Feels
say
like
who does because I don't
Hey,
know.
you gotta work. You gotta find your workaround. You gotta make it
Yeah.
happen. Like that's just what it is. Like gotta make it happen. So
One brewery was really smart. When they opened up, they got a liquor license. That's New Heights. So that's why if you get anything, if you ever come across a New Heights and you see something that's above 10.1, they have a liquor license. So they're able to make 11, 12, 13, 14, 15%.
That's what I didn't know they had a liquor license.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I helped with their Black is Beautiful. And they're like, yeah, we got a liquor license, so we can make ours 12, like whatever, but they collabed with another brewery that doesn't have a liquor license.
I got you.
So they had to like really scale it back. And that kind of caused some extra work they had to do just to make sure the people they collab with are able to sell it in their brewery because they're just a traditional like brewery, like micro brewery.
and that's what really surprises me about state to state, and and like we try to tell people it's the United States of America. Like every state got its own, even though we got the federal government, every state has its own regulations on what you can do with alcohol and stuff like that. So it just tripped me out that you just mentioned that because again, when it comes to like collaborations with say like a Crown and Hops, and I mean I think they have their ABC license, and then you got your different like 23 or 17 license. Well, I'm learning about that as well. But Hella Coastal, like they just to put their name on the can is kind of they got to do a certain way of doing it. They can't always make it really big and huge. It has to be in a collaboration because again they don't have that liquor license as well. So and they can't physically sell it because again they don't have for here in California, and again I could be completely wrong, but at least from my understanding with them is that you have to literally have like because my sister is a mixologist and she wanted to do the mixed alcohol on wheels, and they were like, no, you got to have a brick and mortar location that they can literally tie that license to, which was weird. Yeah, it was weird because I was like, can you sublease it like to the point that you made where the brewery that didn't have the liquor license that they could do something over 10.1. They worked with the brewery that you mentioned earlier that does. So she was looking at partnering up with the bar or something like this, and this was way before COVID, so that she could utilize their liquor license and kind of be like a contractor, and they put her on that liquor license. So it's just these draconian, I've been using that word a lot, draconian prohibition laws.
But it's not wrong.
Yeah, these prohibition laws is just killing us right now when it comes to beer. It's just, man, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy.
So, okay, Cali has had some really stressful times.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have been and y'all have been shut down more than
everybody. Mm.
So I know, like, well, how was your area? Like the breweries, they survive? Were they?
Yeah, the ones right now. So shout out to the Bay Area Brewers Guild because I think it's 100. It's 150 breweries in the Bay Area Brewers Guild. Okay. But the thing about breweries is that when it comes to going to government, I'm just being, and this is my opinion, but government loves Napa, Sonoma County, the wine places, anything where it's like this elitist type atmosphere, but it's really not. It was elitist because you're talking about capital. So you got to have a lot of money when you're doing these vineyards and things like that. I mean, starting off with beer here, like depending on the space you get, is going to be even more expensive. But like you're talking about over $250,000 that you're looking to just set up, and that's getting a building or equipment or whatever the case may be, and that could be a very small, like 2-barrel, 3-barrel system. But the breweries, the problem with what we're having here is that you can have, they closed down the outdoor seating because a lot of the smaller counties, Modesto, Stockton, these areas farther out, more of the farmland, rural areas, some of them, not necessarily the entire city, but certain areas in the city, like certain companies, breweries, restaurants, they wouldn't do the 6 feet apart. So like they'll be outside and everybody be sitting like this, and Cal OSHA will pull up and be like, all right, yeah, shut it down. And so they were seeing that so many times that they was like, stop it. So you, the smaller areas that had the most cases of COVID are not following the rules created for like the cities to more high dense cities to have that issue. So that's been a back and forth right now. And like right now with like Gavin Newsom, they got to kick Gavin Newsom out. They got that going across, signing it. Not the breweries, but a lot of people who just didn't like that he was like at the French Laundry having lunch or dinner with a lot of other politicians as well, when he told everybody to shelter in place, and they shut down the outdoor seating for a lot of the small businesses. And I think that right now in California, like it ain't sweet. Like you already, because California, I mean, so people understand California is separated between, like, everybody think like the Bay Area. The Bay Area is very small compared to the rest of California. You got Sacramento, LA area. You got up north, Eureka, places that I haven't even been all the way up north in California. Humboldt, you going that way. But it's really like when we say, even though we go blue, like that red and blue, like, and I ain't talking about LA, I'm talking about like conservative, liberal, progressive, whatever. Like it's mixture, but like you in California, you get real quick, like, you'll know where you at. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
like,
that definitely exists. I mean, when I took a trip and I rode from the top end of Cali to the bottom end, and it was a different experience. Like, you know, when I was in Northern Cali, I felt like I needed to watch my back. I felt like I was riding in the Southern states.
Oh man, you in them sundown towns.
I ain't saying it was like that, but that's just it was more country, if you would. I mean, country, West Coast country, but rural is
right.
Better. Yeah.
Just not as densely populated. Because I knew what you were talking about when you said Northern California, because most people think the Bay, they'll say Northern California and talk to be referencing the Bay. But when you say it from the top down and you say Northern, I'm like, yeah, you way up there. Yeah. Where a lot of people ain't never been.
We rode through the Redwood Forest, like it was.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Most people ain't even been to the Redwood Forest spot and just like checked out that national park and all that. So,
which I want to do. Side note.
We can make it happen. I need to take a trip anyway. I know my mom, she did it. Her and my stepdad, they went up there a lot of years ago. But it's rough right now because the cases compared to other states. I mean, like Atlanta. You just came from Atlanta. Atlanta ain't closed down shit. Like they out there.
I stayed my ass in a hotel room and we didn't go anywhere.
They had the strip club, no mask. Sometimes got a mask. They got, you got 21 Savage had a
swimming pool out here.
21 Savage having birthdays.
Bombing women and stuff.
Yeah, come on. I mean, like you got the whole club jumping. No man. I mean, and the counts have not been. It hasn't really shown of being high or not high, and I know that's just, I mean, the numbers get skewed so much. But in California, that's what a lot of businesses, especially craft beer, are like. Okay, what are the regulations and the rules? Like, how are you going about doing this? Because if a lot of these breweries close down, again, a lot of small businesses have been closing, and the breweries, it's not just the breweries. Just like when a lot of the restaurants closed down, a lot of people were surprised. And I forgot exactly when it started. I don't know if that was March of 2020 or March or April, when a lot of the farmers start slaughtering a lot of livestock, a lot of cattle, things like that, because the restaurants were not ordering. It wasn't just a supermarket. The restaurants were not ordering, and they couldn't. It would have cost them more money to keep them alive and feed them than to kill them. And I was like that. And we don't think about that. We don't look at the, we don't look at the whole, we don't look at none of that. Distribution, small business, you think of a restaurant, you're like, well, I barely see that restaurant full, but it's not just that restaurant. It's multiple restaurants who they may be doing a collective ordering and sharing a price or whatever the case may be. So it's crazy right now. And a lot of people is like, look, either leave it open or shut it down. But if you're gonna shut it down, shut everything down. Don't be leaving a couple places open that ain't essential. Like the lady in LA, her restaurant got closed the outdoor seating, but they allowed the movies to keep going. So that just going back to that class and capitalism in California right now, especially because you got a lot of vacant spots out here. And in the Bay, it's a lot of high priced apartments and condos. And like they just finished one in Oakland, in North Oakland, and that thing is empty. Like empty. Like
really?
and I'm talking about multiple blocks. I know
the area because when I rode through Oakland, I was like, oh, this is nice.
Oh, yeah, that's new.
Yeah, I feel like that's the area you're talking about with the high end. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Downtown Oakland.
Downtown. Yep. Nice walkable areas.
Yep.
Like, oh, this is Oakland. I don't think this the Oakland that people be talking about.
Nah. And it changed and I mean, a lot of people was like change for the better because you got more lights, you got cleaner looking streets, but at the end of the day, this is like right now people trying to figure it out. Like what's going to happen, especially craft beer, because again, margins are so low in craft beer, and not every brewery is a Budweiser or Lagunitas or they ain't getting bought out by Heineken or whatever the case may be, or they're not a Samuel Adams, which is still considered craft beer, but it's still a lot bigger than a lot of the other craft beers, or Sierra Nevada as well. So, excuse me, it's tough. I mean, and people just don't know because it's day by day. A lot of people, for a lot of these smaller businesses, even the business I work at, the bakery, it's a lot of forecasting of like how sales last year and the year before versus this year and what they expecting. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Imagine forecasting right now.
Exactly. But you got to, you gotta have
because that's a part of business, but you
right. It's like, you just can't. Like, you just can't. You just throw a number. You're like, this number. Cool. Yeah.
This was construction. I had to do forecasting. This was pre-pandemic. That was stressful enough. All considering all the factors you throw in, where you don't know what the government is gonna shut down. You don't know what if people gonna come out and eat. That's hell.
You gotta think of every scenario in that situation. That's the worst.
It's a fact. So go ahead.
I'm just, maybe this is part of my ignorance. I'm a little more I'm a little stunned about like you talking about the Bay Area's like craft beer scene, because when I think of West Coast beer, I think of San Diego, I think of Portland, I think of Seattle, like off rip every time. So it was just kind of, I don't want to say shocking, but I'll go with refreshing hearing that like there are breweries in the Bay Area.
Oh, it's a lot. That's a lot. And,
see, I didn't know that, but like, how do you compare the Bay Area and like to those spaces?
I mean, I haven't been to like Seattle, so I can't. I know Seattle's big. I've been to Oregon. Oregon been on the beer scene like heavy.
Nice too.
I want to go so bad.
Yeah, Oregon got
sip the beer before you.
Hey, I'm out. Yeah, I'm the other one.
The most important part of the podcast.
Right. I want to get this.
Oh yeah, that's like cool. It tastes like Kool-Aid, like for real. Like
Kool-Aid. I like that. I said like breakfast for me.
That experience.
Yes.
Big Iris makes some delicious breakfast sours.
Yes. I even said I was like, I might become a fan of breakfast sours if I keep drinking sours like that.
This tastes like some straight Kool-Aid, like for real. Like it's like that.
It's like blueberry pancakes.
Yeah, that Dave Chappelle's kid, like that purple stuff. Like that's exactly what I get from that. Now that's good, and it's. I mean, like, wait a minute, this is okay, yeah, breakfast sour. I'm tripping. I don't know why I thought that said blueberry stout. Look at me, I gotta stop my life. No, this is good. This is a winner right now. I mean, out of the three, this is probably number one for me. I can't even.
Thank God I picked that. I was like, that was like an audible pick for the stuff we wanted to send you. I was like, because I picked it up. I was like, let me give this a shot, and loved it. I was like, yep, we got someone on the podcast that's got to have this while we drink it.
This, I mean, it's sour.
To Atlanta too. I think I sent that to Atlanta. So to see who else is gonna have that experience. I'll get to try it next on that Atlanta episode because I'll crack it open then.
That's good. And again, sours, I like what sours are doing, just like IPAs, especially over here on the West Coast and obviously over there as well. We got to get the flavor up first. We got to get people to actually, because I talked to a hop farmer, shout out Hollister Hop Yard out here in Hollister, California, which is outside of even San Jose, so it's even way farther than where I'm at. But I got to crack the hops open. I was smelling them and I was like, okay, I know this hop because I can just, once you smell it, you like, this go in that beer. And like, and it's crazy. And I was like, that's where a lot of like brewers at the time, especially on the West Coast, they lost that. They were just hitting you with that alpha acid, bam, bam, bam. But the flavor is what I like. And same thing with sours. Like the first sour I had, shout out to the beer connoisseur. If I always get her name wrong, but she
craft beer connoisseur.
Yeah, Chris. Yep, Chris.
Craft beer Chris.
Craft beer Chris. And I tell her all the time, like when I get a chance to do an episode with her, I'm gonna be like, you're the reason why I even started drinking sours. I was following you, and every damn thing you had was a sour or a goza. So
yeah, that's her jam right there.
Yeah. So she the first time I had a sour, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Like when I say it was beyond, like it was like literally if you took lemons and just like squeezed them straight into your mouth and then you hit it with like some vinegar and like it was that potent. And I got a flight of sours, so that was probably not the best option on the first time. But I powered through it anyway. But
do you drink wild fermented sours?
I haven't had those yet. What I did, my cousin likes mead, like, and it's crazy because I had mead before, and I was like, oh, this is not. I thought when it was like honey fermented, I was like, oh yeah, okay. And I took a sip of that, and I'm like, no,
it's not what you think it is.
This ain't what I want.
Before, not a fan.
I got a can of mead in the fridge. I'll probably try this weekend. But those sours are really my fave. And I swear they should pay me. But it's a spot outside of St. Louis, I think it's in Indiana, but like right outside of St. Louis. And it's Indiana or Illinois, whatever one is right next to Missouri. They just have really great sours, and it's not kettle sours. So so you mentioned the range of sours, and it exists, and it exists beyond just the different fruit flavors or of kettle sours. But and then to piggyback on Kramer's, like, so with you have done San Diego.
No, I haven't been to. I mean, I've been to San Diego, but not beer wise, not for like the beer scene. So that's a whole nother world. Like people, like I remember one time I was in Miami, and it was some women from London. And it took them 5 hours from London to get to Miami. I was like, it took us 5 hours from California to get Miami. And they was shocked on that. And then I was telling them just driving from like the Bay, because everybody knows San Francisco. I was like, just driving from San Francisco to get to San Diego, that's a 6 to 8 hour drive. And they was like, what? I was like, people don't be understanding how big California is. Like, like you could be here.
I don't really know it. And I live in the United States. I'm like, you taking a flight from San Diego?
No, I mean
8 hours.
Yeah, 6 to 8 hour drive or 1.5 hour flight. Like, is that real? And people just be shocked. And I'm like, man, and we like it's so many places I want to go. And that's why I told myself with COVID is that when COVID is not necessarily done, but when people feel comfortable enough to go outside and start taking more trips, like I want to go out there to where I don't have to just be always masked up and not really get that full experience with all these breweries, because that's where you get to see the people, what they like, on top of talking to the brewer as well. So yeah, it's going to take its time, but it is what it is. But no, I have not been to San Diego for beer. I have not been to LA for beer. I've been to LA, but I haven't just been at all the breweries. That's why I'd be watching Crown and Hops and be looking like, man, who are they talking to? Like, what brewery that they going to? So I can start writing them down, because it's like it's going to be an adventure. Like there's going to be some spots, going to be some hole in the wall breweries that's going to be fire that only they know about because they connected, and you just gotta that's what I'm excited about. Same thing with Atlanta. Like
we gotta do a Swig tour soon.
Listen, I'm ready for it. And I'll just give my take on the different cities in Cali, having had beer in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and San Diego. If you think about the weather of the different, and you and Daryl probably understand the weather of the different cities.
Yep.
The breweries match that.
That's a fact.
So in San Diego, you know, it's like sunny, bright. When the breweries have that same kind of vibe. LA is like cool, laid back.
Exactly.
They got that, you know, it got that kind of vibe. You might get some, you know, you might get a little cooler weather in LA than San Diego, you know. And then in the Bay Area, that bitch can be cold at times. And so
that wind to get you.
You're gonna have the breweries.
San Francisco before.
Yeah, that's just like warmer, you know, all of them welcoming, but just in their own way. It matched the vibe of the city. So I would absolutely be, you know, I would definitely say one or two things. Either go to Cali and like spend a decent amount of time and go to different cities, or go to a city for a long weekend. Don't think that like, oh, I'm about to go to LA and I can, and San Diego only 2 hours away. I could drive there. You can, but LA is so damn big that you got a lot to do there. But I want to wrap up with, well, I'm gonna ask a question. Yeah, as you pouring up your last beer there. So I'm drinking a Crown and Hops Pecan Pie Stout.
Whoo, I didn't get that one yet.
This one
that thing is good.
Thing is good.
That thing is good. Like grandma's cooking, man. I swear.
We thought it was gonna be like a decadent, you know, pastry stout. That's what I was thinking.
Got a funk to this one. I like that.
Oh no, this is delicious, and it has gotten better with time. I don't think it's gonna like stand up too long, but it's even better now, personally.
Now, have you had the Urban Queen? Have you had the Urban Queen Stout, Imperial Stout yet?
Nope.
That thing is
no. I need some of their beer. So if you want to shoot them,
I need my cousin. She got it. And I gotta go talk to her because she got a bottle tap connector. She told me about. I'm like, man, I gotta run up in there. Like, and give me all the beer. I need it all.
I was gonna say, send her information.
I get with her. No, I'm gonna get. Because what she was doing, man. Shout out to my official sponsor who barely be giving me food, and I'm gonna get on her anyway, but I love her all the same. My cousin, Soul Skillet Kitchen, go soulskillet.com. You know, if you out here, she ain't transporting food yet, shipping it yet, but we getting there, okay? Because I got to get her money up. But go check her out. She do a good job. But she all around hustler, but she really like with the people. So like when she be popping up on people, like she got the wrap snack joints. We working on doing something with that. I'm hitting up. I went to rapsnacks.com, was like, Master P, put me on. But then it was like, sorry, this email can't get through. So I was like, all right, this weekend I'm calling. I'm about to be blowing up everybody. Like, yeah, but she that connect that she got, I was like, I'm gonna definitely get with her on that because I had that. I saw it when they released it on or said when it would be released on Instagram, and then like literally I went to her house that weekend, and she was like, oh yeah, I got this, and she pulled it out, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I was like, so but no, it's good. You'll like it.
So you know, The Black is Beautiful. It came out. It was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun to collect them from different areas. I still have like a few in my fridge that I'm going through. Because people put lactose in it, I had to slow down. I couldn't be having all this lactose.
I got you.
That
good old milk sugar that most black people can't digest. Not all, but you know.
Yeah. So, you know, but so The Black is Beautiful was cool. That was a dope experience. But I'm wondering and we'll wrap up on this question. What do you see, like, what's next for the industry? You know, were you happy with the response, your neighborhood breweries? Yeah. Were you happy with their response? And then what would you want to see next?
I mean, like I said, I haven't been to all 150 breweries in the Bay Area Brewers Guild. There were several that did Black is Beautiful. There were several that did not. And honestly, again, that's back to what I was telling you about California. Like, just because we're in a quote unquote progressive liberal space don't mean that that's what it is. And, you know, I respect that. When people, of course, they won't tell you directly that I just didn't want to do it because I don't believe in that. But I can, like, when I get well, we already donating to this cause and that cause, and we giving all our money here, which some of them do, so I don't knock them. But other ones, they just didn't want to do it. And like, that's just facts. I think for the industry as a whole, it's still at a level where, for me personally, and glad you asked me this question, it's like we creating our own table little by little. So that's why, like, shout out to drought season, who I call draft season. I don't know why, but shout out drought season talking to me. And the women brew collective out that's connected together, like Blackbeard Chick, the Syndicate, all of these groups are coming together. I think the main thing for craft beer is really that, not just putting the capital in, but the time. And a lot of breweries are doing that, as far as putting time in to do collaborations with the Hella Coastal, with the Full Circle, with I mean, out here in California, it's just a matter to me. The only thing that I'll see as progressive to me is like where we are sitting at the table with our own table and just like, this is what we're gonna do. Because I know brick and mortars are expensive. I know nobody want to pay no triple net lease anymore. But we got to have some spaces. We definitely got to have some spaces. And that's why I think craft beer is at it. If you don't have Black people that had their own space, not just in your building, then like craft beer really ain't doing it. And I'll be honest with you, and I'm a part of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, which I haven't really been at the last 2 meetings I haven't been to, because I've been working on getting all the Black people on Black History Month. And not just Black History Month, but just in general, to show like how many Black people are really in this craft beer game at all different levels. Not just the marketing, not just the lifestyle, but I mean, shout out to them. Like I said, draft season, I got to buy this sweater this weekend, because I was like, man, that sweater is facts. But for craft beer, the only place for craft beer is to have Black people. I mean, shout out to Indigenous people of color. I know they got the BIPOC. That, you know, white people always like to put and it's not just white people. Let me not say that. When it comes to wording that was already there in a book, but most of us that, you know, not in the college realm or the school realm, that's doing these dissertations and these essays where you have to use the correct terminology, then like it seems new to us. And I'm just, again, I'm always like, while they say you got to root for everybody as Black, but my main thing is that Black folks got to do it, got to be in that space. And I love LGBTQI community. I love everybody, but that's Black people in it too. I just want all Black people to be like, look, we don't discriminate against nobody. We want our doors open for everybody, but we're going to sit down as a collective, as a group, and we're going to make sure, which we are doing. You got Crown and Hops, you got Urban Roots, you got all these Hunters Point Brewery, that Seth Butner, who is a co-owner now of, used to be Speakeasy, turning to Hunters Point. Like, we gotta stop trying to recreate the wheel for Black folks. But for craft beer got to stop selling themselves that they want diversity, but reality is they don't put in the work to do it, because low-hanging fruit is the hardest thing to grab. And the reason why I say that is because the low-hanging fruit always requires the most work. And if you probably notice in your career history or job, there's always something that everybody talk about that needs to change, or they always working on changing, but it requires somebody to really pretty much be the, not the guinea pig, but be the person that fall on the sword to take all of that pain, stress, anguish, frustration, and just like, but we're going to move forward. And that's where I think like Devo or Devonay, who's the brewmaster at Drake's Barrel House, like her and I have plenty of conversations off mic, and like she's a white woman, and she was like, I took this position because everybody was talking about diversity and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, because there's not a lot of women brewers in there. There's not a lot of Black people and people of color in there. So she was seriously about it, but she was like, I get stares when I do it, because again, being white woman and being the head of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and I was like, yeah, I know you're gonna get that, and I was like, I have no sympathy for you or empathy for you in that aspect, because at the end of the day, you know what you're trying to do. Yeah, I was like, but you know what you're trying to do, and it'll show by putting in the work or not, but you damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I think a lot of times for craft beer and white people, because that's mostly what it is. They had 400 plus years to create all these different industries on our backs and take our patents because we was black. and now they're in this space where it's like all COVID showed to me was like, you're not looking at your customer base. And like for Drake's, for example, they know they have a large Mexican or Latin customer base. So they have been focusing on like, okay, how do we ensure that we keep getting them in the door? They have a Mexican head brewer, and like he may not want to be looked at in that way, but for when we had my episode with her, I was telling her like, to me, if I'm Mexican and I come into this brewery and I see this Mexican dude and I find out that he's a head brewer, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's what's up. Seeing is believing, and I might not really drink majority of the time. And I might not necessarily like all of y'all at the brewery, but because y'all hire him, I'm supporting him. And that's where I want craft beer to be at. And I'm not sure, honestly, if craft beer as a whole is ready to do that, or they really want to do that. And that's fine. I just want the money. So give us the money. Give us the money. Put your money where your mouth is, and take down the barriers so we can all be on a equal footing. And that's where craft beer has to be for me. And that's why with Black History Month especially, I've been very vocal about it, just so people understand, like I'm happy-go-lucky. I love people, but at the end of the day, I know where Black people are anytime Black people are in a space, we make it better. And that's not just because, we Black and we just make it better. It's just because, no, we look at it and be like, y'all not looking at it the way I'm looking at it. You're not going to reach the audience the way I'm going to reach the audience. Exactly. And we always freak it to a way that they like, damn, I didn't even know that was possible. Because again, the creativity is there because again, it's some trauma too. I mean, growing up in the hood, like you ain't wearing the right clothes and you ain't got, you got to be creative and you got to be happy with yourself. Like that's one thing I think about Black culture is even though people get on you a lot and always trying to clown you, at the end of the day, it really makes you, especially here in Oakland. I love the city of Oakland because it's like, who are you? It's like that growing up, that's what I was always like learning, like, who am I? And I was like, well, I'm just a nerdy dude. I like watching Power Rangers. I like watching Sailor Moon. I like watching Bananas in Pajamas, Batman, all this stuff like that. And that person has not changed. I just have grown and learned to just be a better person, but I have not lost who I am. And that's one thing I think craft beer, especially a lot of white people, they're trying to figure out through us who they are because they were like, well, I don't understand why it's always a problem. Well, there's always a problem because you have no diversity. You can't think outside the box. You know what I mean?
Just live in a world of comfortability and
that's exactly
white privilege. Like you can turn off whatever you want to turn off
all the time
and ignore it. We really can't. But yeah, I just want to throw my 2 cents in there right there.
Oh no. And that's just where I'm at. And again, craft beer has been welcoming to a lot of us, but at the end of the day, like Roland Martin says, when it comes time for money, then everything is, I don't know. And I can see that. And like, I love all the collaborations that Crown of Hops has been doing. Love all the collaborations Hella Coastal has been doing. But at the end of the day, if you're not working with them to get them into a level to where they can have their own brick and mortar or be in the same space as you, then really you just doing it at a, back to your point, Kramer, at a comfortability level that is okay with you. So when you're ready to cut it off, which let's be honest, sooner or later it's gonna cut off. When you cut it off, then you can be like, well, I helped you. You didn't take advantage of it.
That was it. I did it. Like I'll help you brew a beer. Like that's not the end of it. There's so much more. So I want to get your take on that beer on the.
This one. Oh yeah, fine. I'm sorry. No, I like this one. Like I said, it has a. I think because I was drinking all the other beers, like this one, like I was like, okay, cool IPA, but it has like again, my palate's probably a little off whack because of the way I set it up, plus this tea that I have. But I like this double IPA. Like it got a little. I call it a funk, but that's just because I think my palate is a little messed up from the lemon and the honey. But I do enjoy this double IPA because this is a type of IPA where it's like, and I just looked at the color too, even though it's hazy, it has a very
beautiful color.
It has a beautiful color. I don't know exactly what that color is. I almost want to say like a
dark straw.
Yeah, something like that. And one of those. But it just it's very subtle IPA. You get more flavor of the hops than you would typically, because when you see something like this, you would think it's really strong. And it's 8%, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I got that right. So, yeah. Oh, pillowy tropical citrus. That's why it that's exactly what I get from them.
It fitted, right? So Bearded Iris is they make IPAs, and their tagline is cultivate variety. But it's like a running joke that they just provide variety of hops, not necessarily variety of beers. But they do breakfast stouts, IPAs, and I'll say breakfast sours, IPAs, and they make some pretty good stouts. They don't do too many stouts, but they'll crank out a barrel aged joint, and it'll be really tasty.
Yeah, I gotta look forward to hanging out and coming out there and getting more of their beer, because this is a good double right here.
Good time.
Don't kick it, man.
There was a brewery called there's a brewery here called Bold Patriot. They moved from Northern Cali, and they were under a similar name, but not Bold Patriot, like Patriot Act or something like that. But it's just when you talk about the different how Cali is just different. They are very they're Republicans, very.
We got plenty of those here.
And they moved to Nashville, and I think they thought that, we're moving to Tennessee, it's a red state. Well, you picked the bluest part of Tennessee, and so they haven't had the greatest welcoming here in Nashville.
Yeah, we had a little bit of static with them. I did personally.
Yeah. So that was our experience with like a Cali brewery or a former Cali brewery.
And I mean, that's not, I'm not gonna say that's all of them, but it's that again, when I walk into a brewery, I already know more than likely I'm gonna be the only black dude, which is not really a big problem to me because I'm coming here for the beer anyway.
Right.
But the thing is like my mom said, she always liked living in the South because at least they were overt about if they liked you or not. And you knew where your line was. You don't like me because I'm black? Cool. I know who you are. Right. Cali, it ain't like that. They'll smile with you. They'll come to the kid's birthday. They'll be the best friend at the job, invite you to all the events. And then reality is they don't like you at all. Or they have a stereotypical point of view, or they're using you for something. I just think that brewery in particularly got a wake-up call because they was like, now we can be our true selves. Well, especially with a name like that, now we can be our true selves. And they was like, nah, they ain't really like that, because where you moved, you didn't check your demographics, you didn't check the population, you didn't do none of that. And they just got a wake-up call. So kudos to them. Congratulations. Like DJ Khaled said, you play yourself.
I already knew it was going to be problematic when I saw the goddamn name. I was like, oh, this was going to be a situation. But
it hits different in the South than anywhere else. I feel like that word.
Yeah. But we want to thank you for coming on the show. It was dope to hear. Yeah, it was dope to hear about like your experiences and your how you feel about the Bay Area. And looks like we're gonna have to come visit so you can. We can go to San Diego or try some different areas as well. I mean,
and that's gonna be multiple trips. So we gotta.
Listen,
you're gonna be
I'm here for multiple trips.
You can fly. You can be like, I'm about to fly into San Diego in this month and this week, and I'm like, all right, cool. We gonna be there too. My cousin, shout out my cousin Ebony, I love her. She down there. She always like, I always told you come down there. That's gonna be an excuse for me to come barge in her place, because she always said the door open, and then she'll show us all around there too. So shout out.
Family friendly breweries, so you can bring the little one.
Yep.
Just don't take no pictures so mom don't judge.
Yeah. No, my mom's fine. She just said don't be trying to give her beer until she makes her own decisions. But
this is real. That I guess that's real. Nah. But again, want to thank you for coming out. We appreciate you all listening. This was the Rep Your City Bay Area. And if you want to get specific, he's in Richmond.
Yeah, I'm
Which
I'm
what?
from,
know
but I'm
where the
from.
hell Richmond is.
Yeah, I
so
know,
we
Richmond.
just Bay Area.
Richmond only like 10 minutes away from Oakland, 15 minutes away from Oakland, and then San Francisco is like cross the bridge, no traffic. You probably get there about 15 minutes, depending on what part of San Francisco you're from. But I grew up in Oakland, 32nd Magnolia, Dogtown, West Oakland. Shout out to everybody.
All right, you better rep your goddamn
You know what I'm
city.
saying? Got to throw it in there. You know, the Bay, we have nothing but love for the Bay, but it's town business all day, every day. I just got to put it out there. And go watch that E40 and Too Short versus battle, and you'll understand what we're talking about out here. All right.
Hey. So y'all be easy. Y'all stay warm. Hopefully y'all have power now so you can listen. But
Stay safe, honestly. That's the thing you can say. Just stay safe.
Just stay safe.
Warm.
So we'll holler at y'all at the flip side. Atlanta's next week. And
ATL ho.
ATL ho.
06. Lift your glass to the Swig podcast and keep toasting.
Take a